you have the fun part to do, which is to add gradations to your library sheet. I would not recommend that you do this until you've practiced quite a few times to do a graded tone on your sample sheet. Don't try to do this without practicing first. So, we can do these dry or we can do these wet. I think probably just dampen the page a little, just so we have some moisture on that page. I'm not putting a lot of water on, just the slightest amount, as long as you cover the entire area that has to be graded. And I've got a lot of water on here at the bottom, so what do? We clean the brush and we pick it up, because we don't want it to be too wet, causing the pigments to just spread to the edge of the page. Alright, so I'm going to take my lemon yellow and I'm going to start at the top. And go about 1/3 of the way down, a little more maybe, okay? Clean the brush. You can see I've got a puddle here, and I'm going to go in about 1/3 and bring it down a little bit more. And then I'm going to clean my brush and come down a little bit more. Clean the brush, come down a little bit more, and you can see it's starting to lighten up. Clean the brush, come down more, shape. And you can take it right down to the edge of that shape. Next one, put a little water on this shape. The yellows are the most forgiving. You won't have any trouble with the yellows. All right, we're going to take a little cadmium yellow light. And you notice the saturation on these is a little bit more, is a little stronger than my original swatches, but that's all right. So this way, when you have this library, you now can see what your full saturation looks like, and you can see what your blend is going to look like. All right, next we're going to do Scarlet Lake. Load the, ooh, too wet. I got to dry this off a little. All right, now we'll start again. I'm going to add a little bit more color. Clean my brush. Go about 1/3 of the way in. Bring it down. Clean the brush. Need more water. Now be careful, you don't want it to pick up, so once you've done it, stay out of it. Don't try to patch it. Wait, you can always go back in here and create another gradation, but that doesn't look too bad. All right, permanent rose. I want to wet this before we start. Sometimes if you have two brushes, and you can use a, you can use an inexpensive brush if you want to use two brushes. Oh, isn't that pretty? Make sure you use the tip of the brush towards the edges. Clean the brush. Go about a third of the way in. Bring it down. Clean the brush. Make sure you don't go back into the darkest area because then you're just going to create a spread of color. Always stay close to where you ended the first blend. And if you feel it getting too dry, dip your brush again in order to get it to move. You'll feel it, it'll drag on you. All right, let that dry. Now for our lovely ultramarine blue. We're going to do this light, and we'll wait, and we'll put several gradations on this one. Okay, so this is just about the right dampness. I'm going to go into my ultramarine. Make sure you mix it. Remember, this molecule is very heavy. And we're going to do the top. You can see how much lighter I am at this point. Not going too dark initially. Because this color seems to be much happier when it's put on in light layers. Clean the brush. Take some of the moisture out. And start to grade it. And we're going to let this dry very thoroughly, and then we'll put another layer of gradation on top of it. Now this one, I can see it got a little heavy here. I may go back into it. I may lift a little. I may just add a little gradation here, a little bit more to make up for this little bit of irregularity. But we'll get it so it's nice and even. All right. Okay, our ultramarine is dry, so let's put another layer of color on this form. This time I'm going to work dry, and I'm going to load my brush. Bring down my color. Clean my brush. When I no longer can get a gradation out of it, clean the brush. And I have my gradation. A little darker than before. If you want it to go darker, we can do it again. Let's see.